Underway, the Sonoma County Fire District rescuing 2 people trapped in the high flood waters. The Bay Area experiencing flash flooding. San Francisco's airport seeing major flight delays and cancellations ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday.
You're listening to ABC News.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Mostly cloudy skies for today. It will be another chilly one with highs in the mid to upper 20s with winds out of the north at about 5 to 10. Clouds hang tight tonight as we drop off to a low into the 20s and a little bit warmer on your Sunday with winds switching to the north late in the day. We'll have highs right around the freezing mark and we can't rule out a few flurries, and then colder weather starting next week with highs in the teens and low 20s. From the WDAY Skywatch Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki.
If you're looking for honest, dependable, over-the-top customer service at affordable prices, you'll want to do business with Welton's Tire Service in Lisbon, North Dakota. Welton's is a name you've grown to trust, proudly serving the area for 50 years. Welton's Tire always works hard for customer satisfaction and service. They offer brands for every make. If you need tires, repair, maintenance, or on-farm tire service, contact Welton's Tire on Main Street in Lisbon. Tell them Beth sent you. Online at weltonstire.net.
Good morning, hockey fans. Another edition of The Hockey Guys. Jeff Bradall, Coach Dean Wilson. Eddie Christian has got in trouble again, had to take his wife. No, that's not true. There was this weekend out in AIC, Eddie's son, Bryant, had an alumni get together, and Bryant asked his dad, Eddie, to go with. So that's a nice father-son trip. And Doc Phil, hopefully, will be coming in, running in here shortly.
No, I just got a text. He's in Montana at his ranch. You know what I told my wife? I should have been an orthopedic surgeon. He's cruising in the Caribbean. He's got his Montana ranch. Good for him. He's worked hard. He's a great orthopedic surgeon, just recently retired. But good for you, Dr. Phil. Chill out, relax, enjoy, catch some fly fish and some rainbow trout.
Or a big moose or a big elk, right? Hey, listen, some big games last night. First and foremost, let's talk North Dakota in overtime over Robert Morris, 4-3. Tell you what, Robert Morris, after North Dakota got those 2 quick goals at the start of the game, they didn't shudder. They kept playing their game. Withstood the first period, but the second period, They started getting back in the game and the flow of the game. Robert Moore's tempo going up. North Dakota's going down, matching that play, right? Third period, it was a battle. What do you think, Coach Wilson? What happens in those type of cases?
Well, I'm going to throw this out because maybe I'm a Facebook addict and I shouldn't get sucked in the vacuum, but I'm going to get sucked in the vacuum. You know, like people are going, you're wrecking your ratings, you're doing this and that. It's like when you're throwing off lawn chairs off the Titanic. Relax. We're changing a seat on the Titanic. It's early in the year. It's the infancy. You got injuries. You're moving lines around. You're trying to do things. You're trying to decode your team for the best results. So you know what? Sit back. But with UND, big schools, people are coming to play you. That's a big feather in your hat. When I was coaching high school, my little league here, you know what I mean? If I could beat Morehead, if I could beat Red River and Central, Warroad, Rosa, whatever, that meant our program was somewhere. It was where we're at and where we want to go. So, but, you know, teams want to beat the big schools, and it was a great game.
Well, the NCHC last night, you saw the lower teams in the standings knocking off the upper teams. Arizona State 3, Denver 2.
That was the big game for me. That was a big game for me. I kind of smiled because we need a little bump there for Denver, right? If we're trying to get
catch them.
Exactly, and they're the real deal. And Arizona beating them, they're the real deal.
And that was in Denver. Also, you had number 11, St. Cloud, knocking off Colorado College. Number 7, 11 knocking off 7, 3-2. Now, let's get back to the University of North Dakota game. What was really fun, Dean, at the start of the game, they had Stick It to Cancer, and they had a sheet for all the players on who they were playing for, right?
Yeah.
You know, and Bradbury, his mother passed away from cancer, and Brad talked about that right out of the chute in his post-game press conference. Really, really neat event last night. Hopefully it's a tradition going forward. You know, Fargo, our community, West Fargo, Moorhead, has a really nice, they call it Stick It to Cancer. Is that a nationwide event, Wills? Or is that local? You know, that's a great thought because, you know, they talked to, you know, October, October, November, cancer awareness, breast cancer, you know. It touches a lot of us, and I got a passion for this. I'm glad what they did last night at UND because I'm going to give some shout-outs. And, you know, had been coaching for a long time. I knew area coaches that had passed away. Off the top of my head, I think of Matt Malm. I think of Jeff Gustafson, just to mention a few. But shout-outs to people that are fighting the battle now. I think of Tom Strinden. Jay Erickson, I coached with him for 30 years. You know, he's fighting the fight. Mike Gass, who played for me, shout out to you. My wife works with us, Jennifer Free. You know, she's working it through and she'll do well. You know, last night our family went out with my wife. She rang the bell a year ago yesterday of her last chemo, cancer free. So we're just blessed, you know. But I got to throw it out. I mean, it's just such a gutless, evil disease. Chemo, you know, it's like the devil, you know. And I just, it's a lot of hard work and getting through it. And you people get through it. We pray for you. And we've known people that have passed that haven't been able to ring that bell, you know. So cancer awareness, good job up at UND. Yes, I hope that continues, not just at UND, but all through Division I and III college hockey. I should say our phone line is 701-293-9000, 701-293-9000. If you want to give a shout-out to one of your family members or someone you know, give them some support, fighting through the battle themselves, you're sure welcome to give us a call. Also, we want to let you know that the presenting sponsor of the Hockey Guys is Valley Imports. And the Hockey Guys, you know, Wills, we're the best college hockey radio show in the country. And it's brought to the listeners by Valley Imports and Valley Pre-Owned, the best price leader in the region. Find your next vehicle at Valley Ford or valleyimports.com. Well, that's why I love you, Wilson, when you speak about those things such as cancer and your wife. You speak from the heart, and you can hear it in your voice. Last night after the game, Brad Berry had talked about what his team did in the first period successfully and what happened in the second period and what happened in the third period and what it meant to win in overtime. And let's hear from Coach Berry post-game press conference last night. And we have more of Brad Berry coming up in our second period. And, Wilson, I'm going to have you dissect what Coach Berry talked about with F2 and F3 and F1 when we get back. But listen, Tom Serratore, head coach, Bemidji State University, is coming on at 9:35, and we'll be back for another period of the Hockey Guys right after this. Welcome back. And Dean, when you went through the list of people in your life that were affected by cancer, we should also let our listeners know that you had thyroid cancer, my friend, and you've been doing well since then and did the therapies and rang the bell yourself. So congratulations.
I appreciate that. I'm going to give a shout out to Roger Maris, too. I remember my doctor was, I'm going to throw it out, Dr. Trainer, and he's a hockey guy, too. And I remember everybody, you get scared because you want it fixed, and I'm going, go to Rochester, don't stay here, whatever. And I remember Dr. Trainer saying, Wills, I'm not going to let you die on me, buddy. I'm going to take good care of you. And if I can't do it or I can't figure it out, I will send you to Rochester, So shout out to Roger Maris. What a great play. They were personable. They treated me well. The people were professional. And shout out to Roger Maris.
Well, Dr. Phil Johnson, thank you for joining us at the Johnson Hunting Lodge in Montana.
Well, no, not a hunting lodge, just a house.
Well, Dr. Phil, the word on the street is, and I haven't watched the new episodes, is somebody told me you're doing a cameo appearance on Yellowstone.
Who told you that?
I'm just going with the word on the street, man. On the word on the street, you're supposed to be kicking Rip's butt on Yellowstone.
You're the new veterinarian there.
Yeah, that was supposed to be a secret.
My bad. Sorry. You know me. I can't keep a secret.
Yeah, I know. No, that's okay. Nope, not at all.
Well, listen, we have the second episode. We ran out of time that first period to get Coach Barry's full, complete comments after the game, but let's finish up Coach Brad Barry's thoughts after the game, and then let's dissect it, guys. All right? Go for it, Addison. One of the big things I always look for is when I look at the stat sheet is blocking shots. And Phil, you got the goaltending history as a player at Fargo South. Tell our listeners how important it is as a goalie to have your defensemen in front of you, the forwards in front of you, blocking those shots.
It is so important, and I think it goes without saying that, the defenseman that sacrifices himself for those shots is really, really important. And, some people say, that it isn't that big a deal, but it really is, because it allows the goaltender then to focus on the other guys that might be looking for the rebound. So it kind of takes a little bit of the edge off that you have to concentrate on that shot. And you're kind of playing a little bit further ahead if there was a winger off the offside. So it makes the goaltender's job much easier if you've got defensemen and forwards that are sacrificing themselves to block a shot so that you don't have to see it through the screens. You don't have to try and find it through bodies and between legs. The one thing I will say, though, and the one thing that always kind of irritated me a little bit is that the guys wouldn't move their feet. They would stick their stick out instead of trying to block the shot. And once that puck hits the stick, it's anybody's guess where it's going to go. And sometimes that was an issue. I mean, it'd sneak over your shoulder or go in between your leg because you weren't expecting it because that thing came so fast. But I'll tell you what, forwards and defensemen that lay down and block shots, they are goalie's hero, no question.
Absolutely. And Brad talked about changing of the lines in the second period for North Dakota, where they're on the opposite side, their bench is. And you would normally think you're going to come off when you're heading to the northerly direction as that rink sits, right? But if you come off the ice when the puck's going that direction, you're giving your opponents an odd man advantage.
He was bang on, and I used to tell guys in the second period, that's a long car ride to get off. And it's all about timing. Gino Gasparini used to say this: offensive starts in the defensive zone, defense starts in the offensive zone. Your timing, guys are peeling off at the wrong time. Oh, I'm exhausted. We're taking too long a shift. They're in the offensive zone. You got stamina and you got grit in the offensive zone, but now it's coming the other way. Oh, I'm huffing and puffing. I got to get off now, right? And I go, it's timing, you guys. You can't be doing that. You got to be smart. And good teams and good coach teams, they'll peel off at one guy at a time, so they always keep fresh guys on it. And like if you're a guy on a long shift, I'll say F1 now, you're controlling the puck. Hang on to fresh blood gets out there, guys that have fresh legs, so you can stay in there. But he talked about their timing is off. Don't be peeling off now. You're bagged. You spent too long and you didn't peel off at the right time.
You see that a lot in youth games, especially high school. But you don't see that a lot at the college level, junior level, because they're supposed to know that. But when you're bagged like that, you're not thinking. You just want to get off the ice. The issue is you got to get off the ice before you get to that, that situation. And you got to get off when the puck's going the other direction.
Well, you'll see that on penalty kill. 3 sets, 3 pairs switching off, and they're not tired yet. They're keeping them fresh. And I'm going to switch back to you, Dr. Phil. I heard one time you play a great team, you block 8 shots, but if you play a really good team, every 3 shots might prevent a goal.
Yeah, I always say a good goaltender is going to stop 9 out of 10 shots. And, Doc, if you've got players in front of you blocking 15 shots a game, boy, that's a goal and a half a game.
Yeah, no, I agree totally. And I think it's just one of those things that isn't probably impressed upon enough is trying to block those shots. The other thing is that if those forwards are out high and they block a shot and it bounces, the other forward picks it up and goes in for a break oftentimes. So it's really a helpful situation in a lot of ways, not only defensively, but you can start a rush going the other way just with the deflection off the body.
Plus I think, excuse me, Dean, I think it's a change of momentum. If a player steps up and takes a shot, a hard shot, it can get the players on the bench going. I'll address this one, which Brad talked about, the players going north and south. Hockey's a game of transition. How quickly can you get the puck back and go the other direction? And the quickest way you can do that is in a straight line. And that's the north and south that Brad is talking about. And with the players being so fast and so talented and parity out there, which you seen Robert Morris last night was a darn good team. The once UND goes from defense to offense, you got to shoot out like a cannon and go. And you go straight, north and south, and that's how you want to play rather than zigzagging up and down the ice. That allows the opposing team's players to get back in the defensive zone and set up. And it also allows the opposing players to get at center ice. And instead of make a 3-on-2 or a 2-on-1, now it's a even man situation. What do you think, Phil?
Well, I think you're exactly right, Jeff. In this game, back when we played, it was a little sluggish. The game has evolved now to speed, and the elite level of these players do what they do at the speed that they do, and that's secondary to the training that goes into it off ice. The equipment is so much lighter. These kids are better skaters. They're starting younger. They're getting better coaching, better training. I think that you're exactly right, and you can't take a night off anymore. I mean, a lot of these players, the pool is getting bigger and bigger, and a team like Robert Morris, I mean, you better come to play because they're coming after you. Just look at what happened to Denver last night with Arizona State. Arizona State beats them.
Hey,
so
Doc Phil, we're going to have to we're going to break here, but Ham's Beer, we want to thank Ham's Beer, still brewed in that family tradition, using the purest water and the choicest barley grains and hops. Listen, Tom Serratore's coming up. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back. It's our pleasure to have Tom Serratore, the head coach of Bemidji State, 24th season at the helm of a historic program. Coach Tom, how are you doing this morning?
Doing good. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic, Tom.
Well, I'll tell you what, tight game last night with your team and St. Thomas, 2-2 tie, huh? That's a battle.
Yeah, it was kind of a yawner, a little bit of a ho-hum game. But again, we got the extra points, so I'll take that, guys. What does the CCHA look like this year?
Honestly, I don't even know. I hardly even look at you guys look at the standings. So obviously you guys don't look at the standings either. I don't look at the standings much right now because it's so early. But Mankato seems like right now they're the team right now in our league. They won a big road game at Michigan Tech last night. And, what's happening, there's a lot of beating up on each other, just like all the leagues are. So that's why, again, it's too premature to talk about those things right now, guys. It's too early. It's still November. So we'll talk more the second half of the year because there'll be a little more separation. You'll be able to figure out exactly where things are at. But right now, Mankato's got Mankato right now. They're in the early stages of league play. Mankato's they're making sure they're getting it done. They're getting it done on the road, and they're pretty consistent in their effort. The rest of us, we're kind of beating each other up.
You take a look at the scores every week or every night on Friday, Saturday night. There's no blowouts anymore. You can take a look from a Robert Morris who gave it to North Dakota that easily could have won that game last night on the home ice, right? You take a look at Bemidji knocking off the Gophers. Congratulations, by the way. All the way down to Arizona State knocking off Denver and Denver. All the scores within one goal or two. All last night. It's unbelievable, the parity in college hockey, Coach.
That's why college hockey's the greatest game there is, guys. I'm telling you. You don't know. You can't predict what's going to happen. And if you think you can, you're going to get punched right in the nose. And I say it all the time. I'm going to say it again. When Alabama's playing, it's not necessarily, again, Alabama will have a bad game if they win by 20. Not maybe it's Georgia now. I'll say Georgia, whatever. It's Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State in football. But a bad game is they're going to win by 20. And a good game, they're going to win by 40, and ahead of time, 90% of the time, how the outcome's going to be is what I'm getting at. Our sport, can't do it, can't predict it, and that's why it's an awesome game.
There's parity in players, but I'll tell you what, the difference out there, Coach, is the heart, the effort, the will. Those characteristics are not uniform around all the players, but that's when you're out there recruiting, that's what you got to look at, isn't it, Coach?
Part of it, yeah. There's a lot of things you got to look at. You still need talent, boys. You need skill. You need talent. But then again, you need that talent to compete and have a high battle level and understand that. Again, a lot of these games, there's a lot of close checking, and you got to be able to make plays in tight areas. You can't be a soft skill guy this day and age in hockey. You got to have a skill. You know what? You want talent, you want skill, but you got to have a high compete. And you need a blend of a lot of different types of players, guys. There's no question about that. But there's just no easy ice in college hockey. And I think when you look at college hockey, the difference between college hockey and versus junior hockey or pro hockey, we have 34 games. We're playing Friday and Saturday. Guys are fresh. You're preparing for the same team. By and large in the West, we're playing the same team on Friday and Saturday. So you've got a pretty good scouting report on your opponent as well.
Hey, Tom, Dean Wilson here, and I'm gonna.
Hi, Dean.
Hey, how you doing? I'm gonna kick the dead horse because I have I think similar passion you got. This open portal thing, I tell people all the time, and I'm being real. I go, Tom, you recruit hard and bring in some great players. I've seen a few games last year, and I go, man, he's got some good talent there. My daughter went to school in Bemidji, great facility, great campus, fun place to be. But my point is this: I heard a podcast and they said, face it, the big schools get bigger. You said that, and about they're pro athletes now. They're getting paid to do this and that, and how do you keep them? But just your take on this and your thoughts again. I'm going to kick the dead horse again.
Well, am I into it? No. I just think, again, I think where we're going in college sports is nuts. hockey's not bad. This football's insane. That's just a different layer. That's a different animal, football. But college hockey, at least, the salaries aren't there. Guys aren't getting paid. It's a little, per se, it's different. But at the end of the day, too, I mean, you're spot on. The rich get richer. And, if we want to have a good product, if we want to have good parity, if we want to have the Bemidji's of 2009 going to a Frozen Four. Or
Absolutely, we do.
Yale winning a national title, Union winning a national title, Duluth winning 3 over the course. I think Duluth won 3 national titles in the last 13 years. It's going to get more and more difficult for those types of things to happen. And to me, that's the beauty of our sport. We have 60 teams. We've got a lot of Division II schools. We have Division III schools. We've got non-scholarship with our Ivies. We've got a lot of different types of schools. We got non-BCS and BCS. I mean, we only have 9 Power 4 schools. The 7 in the Big Ten, Boston College and Arizona State. And so we've got we're a cool provincial sport. And it's everybody. There's enough hockey players where everybody can be pretty good. We'll all still be pretty good. But at the end of the day, this puts a monkey wrench in a lot of different things. But I think that the longer I'm in it right now, it is what it is, and you can't sit there and complain about it, guys. You just got to embrace it and just say that's just the way it is, and you can't take things personal, and you just go coach the heck out of your team, and you just go recruit hard. That's all you can do.
You mentioned Union winning their national championship. The unique thing there, Tom, is I think Union was a non-scholarship school at that time. Am I right?
You're spot on. Jeff, you're spot on. They were. And now they're a scholarship school. And, Yale, I can't remember when Yale won. It was 07 or 08, I think it was. But, again, I look at us in 09. I look at RIT in 2010. Look at my brother Frank at Air Force. He's played in a couple Elite Eights. He's been just an eyelash from going to a Frozen Four. And, again, it's just it is what it is. And I don't know. I don't know if we're going in the right direction, but that's the direction we're at. So it is what it is.
What about major juniors and that? And they're all eligibility now. I'm sorry, Phil.
Phil's sitting in his Montana cabin, so he's participating by phone. Go ahead, Doc.
Tom,
hold on.
I got a question for you. Sorry.
We're like the locker room. We don't get along here. The NCAA juniors, Tom, answer that first, and then we'll get to Phil.
Well, are we talking the major junior being eligible?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a proponent for it. Obviously, I am. I think it's going to make college hockey better. It's going to make us deeper. There's some pretty good hockey players up there. So, I mean, right now we're at 35% of the NHL college hockey. That will increase. I think anything to help our product, I think it's pretty good. I mean, it is, again, to be honest with you, I don't know why they weren't eligible 30 years ago and 40 years ago.
I agree.
And so, I mean, I just don't think it was right that they were always. I don't think it was right that they were ineligible. I mean, they were no different than a junior player in the USHL is all I'm getting at. The only thing is that they could sign an NHL contract and they're playing with pros, a kid who's signed, but now obviously again we all realize it's hypocritical from the standpoint of we're given an NIL money. I mean, I think the quarterback who just committed to Michigan, I think there was a lot of zeros, after the numbers. So again, at the end of the day, the NCAA realized that. With the landscape that we're in, why aren't these kids eligible? And it was they figured out that it was a no-brainer because, again, at the end of the day, these kids aren't making any money. Yes, they are playing with some kids who have signed NHL contracts, and the way the collective bargaining agreement is, these kids get sent back to major junior. But it was the right thing to do, guys, is all I'm getting at.
Go ahead, Dr. Phil.
In my opinion, you can talk to somebody else. You can talk to somebody else and they would say no, but that's, I guess, in my opinion, I guess.
I agree.
Hey, Tom, we had an outstanding guest last week by the name of Stacey Goodrich that talked about the mental toughness and the mental strength that needs to be kind of evaluated when kids go into a funk. And I'll tell you, it really opened my eyes to a lot of different things. And I was just wondering, how do you guys approach that? And I know that not every team can have, a mental strength coach and, sports psychologist and the whole bit. But how do you guys approach that when you see a player that's going through a funk? They're gripping the stick too tight, or they're just not there. They're not performing to the level that you know that they can. What do you help the kid do to try and get through that?
Well, I think there's a lot of things you have to do. Number one is, first off, you got to recognize that. And once you recognize that, I think there has to be there needs to be just some one-on-one talks with the kid. But I think you better watch. I think you got to watch yourself, talking to a player too much. I think it's important that you're making sure you're supporting them. You realize that they're a good player, but they also got to get through some of those things on their own because it's competitive out there. The other team has a lot to say about what kind of success you're going to have, and there's going to be times where things are going well. There's going to be times when things aren't going well. But I think as a coach, you guys got to be supportive, and there's times you're going to have to do certain things. Hey, there's times you're going to support them. There's times you're going to try to get them out of that funk. And then there's times you got to worry about the team, and they're going to have to obviously go upstairs and watch from the press box.
Coach Tom Serratore, that's why we love you. One of the best coaches in the country. We need to thank Citywide Electric. Experience that you can trust for design, repair, installation of any home or business for electrical projects. Citywide Electric. Thank you very, very much.
Man, we got a big list, Cherry. You got Fargo.
Hey, before we get in that list, you told me a couple nights ago one of my favorite meals, liver and onions, right? Tell your liver and onion best meal story, Wills. You got to tell that.
Well,
You're
I
just
grew
a
up
fantastic cook.
I grew up where I've had it, and I like, little onions. You bread it, you deep fried onions and bacon. And well, anyways, the other day I was craving it, so I went to Star. I won't tell you the grocery store, but it had liver on the meat counter, so I took it and brought it home, fried it up, ate it. It was so good. I was stuffed. I go, man, that was good stuff. As I'm cleaning up, I flipped the styrofoam box over, and it says for pets only. Doggone it. But you know what? It tasted good. I've been barking all week, right?
Well,
man. Well, you know what the liver does, though, Will?
What does it do?
It's the great filter of all the toxins that come through our body. So it's like, you got to be a little careful there.
Well, I laugh. I'm not going to say the store is right in the counter with the human beings. What the heck?
Yeah. Oh, that's strange. Hey, going back to Frank. I love Frank. He's a great coach.
You're talking to Frank or Tom?
Tom, I'm sorry. That was a classic answer from a coach, and I don't think they really do truly get it. That when those kids get into the black hole, and when they get into that area where they're struggling, that there is a solution. You just have to figure out the right problem for that solution, and that's where I learned so much from Stacy, because it's a simple process, really, if you can identify that early. And I think what we need to do, Dean, is probably get the coaches together this summer for that, when you have the NDHA, all that stuff, and talk to them a little bit about that, because I really think that's a big issue that just is totally under evaluated and not talked about enough. And I think it's a simple fix.
Well, I agree with you. In the springtime, they have all the athletic directors in the state of North Dakota in Fargo, and I got to push out maybe to Todd Olson, see if we can get on the docket and speak about that, because I agree with you. Coach Serratore said a big thing about recognizing it.
Yeah, and Stacy would come up and talk to him about that, but I think too we want to get it into the coaches, because that's where it happens, is right there in the locker room and on the ice and everything else, and on the field. And you kind of got to intervene at the right time. And she would come up. We're going to try and get her on TV on KVLY. They do that little health section, and I think it's really important. I mean, if I didn't think it was, I wouldn't be pushing it this hard. But I think that this is really an important aspect of the athlete's life and the athlete's career, that we understand. You can't play the game just with your physical abilities. The mind and the body have to go together. And when they're not in sync, that's when the bad things happen.
I agree with you. And there's so many different factors. I remember in my career with players, like, for instance, a parent passes away, parent gets divorced, girlfriend dumps them, is severely depressed. And people smile, and I go, just like me 2 days ago, it snows, and all I can think about walking in my car, don't slip, you're not going to slip, and I'm scared just to get to my car door.
Plus you're barking. Right. I mean, that's a hell of a day, Will.
I wanted more liver.
Yeah, I look at it.
He was on all fours.
Yeah, my wife wasn't happy when I peed on the hydrant, though.
I look at it this way, guys. If a young player, boy, girl, can get out and enjoy the game of hockey or any other sport, get out and enjoy it more, right? Just by addressing that aspect, Doc, of the mind and getting over hurdles, they can enjoy themselves more, right? More the merrier. That's how I look at it.
And they'll be more successful, in their competitions too. So that leads right into what you're saying. They'll enjoy it more. They'll have more fun because they're more successful.
And developing skills going forward in life, right?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not just the athlete that we're talking about. I mean, these are these are everyday life skills
100%.
and everyday life issues that can be addressed. So,
but listening to Tom talk about that, there's a reason why he's been coaching for 24 years at a historic program like Bemidji State and an 8-time coach of the year, conference coach of the year, is he gets it. He may not say the same words that Stacy used or is using, but the end result is the same.
Yeah, I mean, I think he understands, but I think he would have a better way of dealing with it, just listening, to Stacy and the mental health strength coaches, because there's simple little things you can do. And once they see that player then performs even better, then I think they would buy in more. But it's just one of those things in hockey, well, it's because we've always done it that way, and that only goes for so long and goes for a little while. And I think the times have changed now that as we learn more about mental strength and how it affects our ability to play and in our performance, it's going to get a lot more play, and it should. It'll make everybody better. Well,
they talk about it, it's just like a flashlight when the battery gets, the light gets dim, the battery gets weak. You don't throw it all out. You replace the battery and you charge it up again, and that's what we got to do a better job with.
I agree.
You can recharge it.
You can recharge it, but it's you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? You know what I mean? If the baby's Gretzky, you want to keep it and work with it and help them heal mentally and obviously physically too.
Well, we want to thank Red Pepper on 19th Avenue North across from the Fargo Dome, our newest sponsor, the Fargo Force, Bagan Strinden, Dakota Refrigeration, Walton Tire and Service, Carpet World, and your best right there, Wills, for the last one. Hulsenson Askew Wealth Management.
Thank you, sponsors. But it keeps getting longer the list because of the hockey guys.
I could go for a grinder right now.
Oh.
Well, I was trying to figure out how many grinders I have.
What's the chef out there making $4.88 tonight, Doc?
I don't know. I'll have to look in the freezer, right? I maybe need to fire up the green egg. I haven't done that. Have a steak.
Well, my dad used to say about eating moose meat. You put it in a crock pot and you cook it for about 8 hours, carrots and onions and all that stuff. Then you throw out the moose and eat the crock pot.
Well, listen, Doc, we're missing you. But listen, we understand you're retired, and we're going to. Hey, we'll see you next week, Doc, right?
Yeah, I'll be back in the studio next week.
Have fun. Be safe.
All right. Take care, guys.
Is a buffer between you and the outside during an accident.
Don't compromise the buffer. Contact my dad Reed at glassdoctorauto.com today. Hit it!
Call the Glass Doctor, we'll fix your paint.
We love our pets, accidents and messes included. Shaw Floor's Pet Perfect Carpet helps you love confidently with protection from everyday messes and odors. Designed with the whole family in mind, Pet Perfect features built-in protection from staining, fading, and pet hair. Make tails wag with Shaw Floor's Pet Perfect. Designed for you, perfect for your pet.
Available at Carpet World, 17th Avenue South, online at carpetworldfargo.com.
Your weather station, fast and first. Nobody does it better.
AM 970 and FM 93.1. WDAY, Fargo, Moorhead, West Fargo. News now. from the WDAY Radio Newsroom.
With a check of your news headlines, I'm Chris Larson reporting. U.S. Senator Kevin Cramer says he's supporting Pam Bondi as she seeks confirmation as the U.S. Attorney under the Trump-Vance administration.
She has all the same MAGA credentials that Matt Gaetz has, but she also has the additional credentials, the actual professional credentials, having been an attorney general, elected not once but twice.
Kramer says Bondi appears fit for the job, saying she's appeared in front of the Senate in one of the impeachment hearings against Donald Trump. Minnesota State University Moorhead President Tim Downs has confirmed the identity of the person who died in an unattended death on November 13th. In an email to students, President Tim Downs says Lawrence Nowak Corey was a third-year computer science major from Brooklyn Park. Friends are planning a candlelight vigil to remember him tomorrow from 6 to 8 in the Comstock Memorial Union Sun Garden Lounge. All are welcome. Those attending are asked to consider wearing yellow or purple, as that is Lawrence's favorite colors. Minnesota State University Moorhead Director of Communications Christy Munson says the investigation is still underway. That investigation is being handled by the Moorhead Police Department. And that's a check in your news headlines. I'm Chris Larson reporting.
First with the news when you need to know. WDAYRadioNow.com.
If you're planning a holiday gathering or company outing this year, then you should talk to the folks at Fargo Billiards and Gastropub. They help people have fun. Company parties, rehearsal dinners, graduation, birthday, and retirement parties. Whether it's a group of 5 or 500, you'll enjoy food, fun, and beverages with beanbags, ping pong, shuffleboard, mini golf, darts, foosball, bubble hockey, and of course, tons of pool tables. Talk to the folks at Fargo Billiards, 32nd Avenue South in Fargo. You gotta see this place.
From ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. Thanksgiving cooking may be getting underway this weekend, but also kicking into high gear recalls and warnings about food safety. 167,000 pounds of frozen beef from Michigan-based Wolverine Packing recalled because of possible E. coli contamination. Meanwhile, the recall of organic carrots produced by Grimsway Farms because of E. coli concerns has expanded, now covering other size bags sold under different brand names, including Good & Gather, Bunny Love, and Cal Organic. ABC's Alex Perez says
officials say one of the reasons why we're seeing or hearing more about them is because we have gotten better at testing for these outbreaks, but they are reminding people to really pay attention, to check those government websites, the CDC websites, the FDA website for information, to just try to stay on top of this because there's so many different brands involved when it comes to some